T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. T-minus for minutes. T-minus 3 minutes. T-minus 2 minutes. T-minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Okay, everybody, let's get this party started on a Football Friday where we will be talking some hockey. We have to, especially in the first hour here, as we're streaming, Game Plus streaming, YouTube Live, various podcast platforms, WQVZ. Hello. Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast joining us in seconds. That's right, I'm wearing a Riders shirt. It's game weekend in the CFL. And we got Emory Hunt joining us from CBS Sports Network in hour 2 when we go to air in Nevada on Silver State Sports. And he's a beauty because he can talk NFL, CFL, college, everything. Nice lid, Kev, as the boys say, nice bucket. Where'd you get that? You want to show the crowd?
I think, I forgot I had it. And I was going through my tote of hats the other day and I pulled it out and I went, where did I get that? This is the hat that I was wearing when you almost took my eye out.
I almost took your nose off, but close. Yeah, that was at Overtime Hockey Lanes when I was shooting, and I did that on purpose. I shot Kevin's hat right off his head. That's how good of a shot I got because I perfected it at Overtime Hockey Lanes. All right, Kev, you ready to go?
Let's go.
Yeah, the big story here as we get rolling with the Quick Six Show topics brought to you by our friends at Unigo Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show, and the BC Lions. Listen, we'll get to the football. I've been laughing all morning, and Kevin, chuckling, actually, Kevin, at the people complaining about the weather for Monday's CFL preseason game, Saska, Calgary. Listen, we're getting into Stanley Cup Playoffs here right away because we have to. Everybody's talking about it, but the pissing and the moaning is just, why? I shouldn't be taking so much glee out of this, Kevin. It's just funny.
You can't please the CFL fan. We talked about it off air. It's an impossibility. We could say we're going to start in June. They will bitch, that's too late. We're going to start May long weekend. That's too early. There's no appeasing people. It's mind-boggling to me. Yes, it's going to be on a little bit of a chillier side, but I would rather be 0, -2, -3 than finishing the season in Winnipeg at -40. No, it wasn't -40 last year. We got lucky, but it was still dang cold.
Right, and we got a lot of U.S. viewers that are tuned in already. I see that. So for you guys, what Kevin's talking about, so it's basically 0 Celsius is what they're saying. It's going to be Monday for the holiday Monday at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. That's 32 Fahrenheit. I've been here long enough to know what it works out to in Fahrenheit. 32. So yeah, freezing temperatures for the first CFL preseason game on Monday. We'll get to all that, but I'm chuckling at it. The complaining, I don't know why. Anyways, in a week's time, I'll be right in the middle of it as I'm coming back for the summer. But okay, to the hockey, because it is the big story, and we just have to open with that. Mitch Marner scored a tremendous goal 62 seconds into the game, and the Golden Knights went on to steamroll the Anaheim Ducks 5-1. Roasted duck, anyone? They took the series in Game 6. Anaheim's going home. The Golden Knights are going to the Western Conference Final. Obviously, be talking way more about that in hour 2 when we're on the air in Nevada. And also, the Montreal Canadiens. I didn't see this coming in a series that's very hard to predict, Kev, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I know you said Montreal was going to win. Bravo. They motorboated the Buffalo Sabres last night. You old sailors, you old bunch of sailors. They motorboated Buffalo 6-3 last night, and they're going home with a chance to end it Saturday night. So it was a pretty good night of hockey.
It was. I actually watched both games, and I texted you after the first period of that Montreal game. Holy, that was like the fastest first period in hockey. It was insane. It was like just go, one end to the other. It was fun to watch. Then Montreal took over, and like you say, they dominated. And I think they close it out. I think they close it out at the Forum.
Well, at the Centre Bell, but nice try. Yeah, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern is the start of the game, and I will be following. Can somebody clarify this then? Okay, so Jason in Red Deer writes, and he says, Carter Hart was amazing. And that Mitch Marner goal, my God. Kev texted me last night. He's like, are you watching the Montreal game? I'm like, of course. Yes, I'm watching it, which rolled over into the Vegas. And I can't wait to talk about that in hour 2. I swear to God I can't. But buddy of mine, Devin from Regina, said this is team redemption. John Tortorella Been fired everywhere. These guys may end up winning the Stanley Cup. Carter Hart, no, Edmonton was too good to sign him. We all know why they didn't sign him. He's leading them to the Stanley Cup. Some teams will do whatever it takes to win, and then there's other teams. Okay, so anyways, yeah.
Vegas proved that they're just that much better. They talk about a dominating performance. It was like, holy, it was fun. It was fun to watch. And again, it's cool to watch a hockey game and not have a vested interest. It was like, I could just watch it and cheer both sides.
I'm telling you, it's the way to go. It's the way to go, Kev. Not being a fan, I'm not sure you're able to do that. And by the way, before we do flip this over to the football, Dan in Winnipeg writes, then he says, "Go Habs, go! Habs are going to win tomorrow night. It's going to be rocking and loud at the Bell Center." I'll just say this about the Golden Knights: they're getting shellacked because John Tortorella and the players didn't speak to the media after the game last night. They said they had a plane to catch, and all the media is complaining about it. And I just kind of sit there and go, oh, God. I'm not going to name names, although in Canada it's Ryan Rishaug, Farhan Lalji, Mark Spector, some guys in Vegas that have been on this show. So I don't want to – all those guys have been on the show, so I don't want to troll them. But it's like, when are you going to understand? There's a little thing called the golden rule, guys. Vegas owns the gold, the players and the coach. They don't need you. They don't need you. I don't think anybody cares but the media that the Golden Knights didn't meet with the media. Kev, do you?
Well, not really. Personally, I don't care. As if I was there and I was a media member and I was expecting it, I'd be a little put off as well. But it's Torts. I mean, what do you expect? He was in Vancouver. I remember him literally getting into arguments with media on a regular basis. He hated the media hated him. It was just a thing.
What did I tell you on the phone just before the show? This is a new era. This ain't even then when he was in Vancouver 15, 20 years ago, whatever. They don't need the media anymore.
No.
The fact that they trot these guys out to meet with the media is a courtesy to the media. You know what I mean? And if they don't want to do it.
Did they not send one guy out? Like, there was the token one guy.
Yeah, and I don't know who that player was. I mean, yeah,
I think he was a Zamboni driver.
I want to hear what the coach has to say too. But I mean, this is the team, the Golden Knights yanked the media credentials of somebody that was asking probing questions about the London World Junior situation with Carter Hart. And they're like, you're done. And it's just like, guys, when are you going to realize this? When are you going to get it? So anyways, we are getting into it here on a Football Friday. And can somebody look up whether the Monday's CFL game is on TV or not? People are writing and saying it is. I didn't think that it was. I can't find it anywhere. RP Show continues right after this.
Across America, Country Thunder music festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and
and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
21-time nominated Grammy Award winner Dwight Yoakam. Live in concert. June 24th, 7 p.m., Temple Garden Center. Dwight Yoakam. On sale now at sasktix.ca. Dwight Yoakam Live.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's a Football Friday, streaming, YouTube Live, Game Plus YouTube, various other, doesn't matter. We just got to do an entertaining show, and we're doing that. Kirk writes in from Toronto, Kev, on the Western Dodge text line at 902-518-3033. He says, hey, Rod, the shine is off the Sun Belt in the U.S. 42% drop of Canadian visitors to sunny states and over 50% to 6 Florida cities. Elbows up. You know what I say to that? Good. Stay home. We're totally fine with that. Yeah. What does
that got to do with sports?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I shouldn't have even read it. You're right. Oh, so by the way, we are going to get into this. Nobody's told me yet whether this game is on television or not. Monday, Riders at Stamp. Okay. So it's not on cable television. The Rod Squad, our viewers writing in saying it'll be on streaming. So that's cool. I'm hoping that I'm able to find it here in the U.S. Maybe I'll get together with Matt Dubuck and we'll watch it. And I want to get to that in a sec. But I did prep Kev for this. It was a really big deal. Let me just find it here in our Quick Six show topics, brought to you by Neil Chark and Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Let me read this, the official word. The NFL's annual schedule release day brought each team's full 17-game schedule, which includes loaded slates on Thanksgiving and Christmas, among a host of other must-watch matchups. USA Today printed a list of winners and losers from the NFL schedule release. And let me just tell you, I know it was carried on TSN because I talked to my sponsor, Bob, and he said it was on. He wasn't watching it. He said TSN was carrying the ESPN 3-hour special on the NFL schedule release. So I have some thoughts, brief ones, but Kev, yours on whether it be the NFL schedule or the CFL schedule or the NHL schedule. How are you on schedule release days?
Do I look at it? Of course I look at it. And that's it. I don't spend 3 hours delving into it. I mean, with the CFL schedule, once it gets closer, like this week, I will delve into it closer and look at all the games because Jake and I like to make long-term predictions. But I know it's not going to be a 3-hour show.
Well, yeah. So what people were saying last night online was that the NFL schedule release special on ESPN would have higher ratings than the Stanley Cup playoff games, Montreal, Buffalo, and then the Vegas game. And I'm like, I don't know. I flipped over in between, in commercials of the hockey game to see what they were doing. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. It was a lot of good-looking girls and a lot of good-looking guys, including Dan Orlovsky, who I really like. And they put the schedules up of every team, and they went through game by game of every single team. I'm like, this is entertaining to you people? You would rather watch this than the Montreal Canadiens and the Buffalo Sabres, then I don't I don't really get it. But having said all of that, Kev, I get going through reading that USA Today column, I'm like, oh, ESPN gets the Super Bowl for the first time ever. ESPN has their most ever games at 29 this year. There's going to be a Christmas Day tripleheader, 2 games on Netflix and another one. It's sucking me in. So I can kind of see how this becomes a thing because they made it a thing. You see what I'm saying?
How did the World Juniors become as big as the World Juniors
TSN
is?
made it what it is.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, it was on long before TSN started promoting it as the greatest tournament ever. Now in Canada, it's a must-watch tournament. It's like, yes, you have Christmas, but more importantly, you got Boxing Day and you got the World Juniors starting on Boxing Day. That's how that's how I look at it. So you can make anything. You live in the States, so you live NFL. They talk NFL.
You have no idea.
24/7. So now you've absorbed that for how long have you been down there now? 3 years, 4 years? Is it really been 6 years? Holy.
Going on 6, yes.
It's going to seep in. It has to.
And they've brainwashed the people. That's the thing. So as I swing this back to CFL, I'll never forget when this show first started. It was June of 2019. I did a sit-down interview with Wally Buono at the Hotel Saskatchewan, and it was amazing. And his daughter, Christy, lined it up. Always got along great with Christy. And they were in for some event in Saskatchewan. And when we did the interview after, Christy goes, these people here are brainwashed. And I'm like, in Saskatchewan, I'm like, I know. I helped do the brainwashing. So you think I don't know that? So people believe what you tell them. They don't really want to think on their own. It's really not that hard to do. It's really to brainwash. So Americans are brainwashed that, you should really be into the NFL schedule. And I feel like with the CFL schedule release, I don't know if it's too late to make it a big deal or not. I just kind of feel like because I've been seeing it with my own eyes for so long, they're like, it may fail, so why even try? That's kind of the sense that I get.
It won't be a big deal if they don't make it a big deal. They can make anything a big deal. Will it happen overnight? No. They've got to be repetitive. Did the NFL become the juggernaut of what they are in their first year? No. They were consistent. They kept it up. They made it an event. They make everything an event with the NFL. That's what you and I have talked about so many times with the CFL is make game day an event. Make the season schedule an event.
Well, and certain people are trying. And to be honest, you've lived in Calgary for a very long time. Now you live in the 306. The Stampeders are really trying. And we were there on day one when Jay McNeil took over. They're really trying, which actually leads us, thank you for the segue. And I should tell you that the warm-up is brought to you by our good friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel. Score a touchdown in the Caribbean. Join CFL legend Adam Bighill and Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jameer Thurman on a 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale on February 20th of 2027. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99 per person. Cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel. It's Neil, Neal, at uniglobecarefree.ca. So they bring you the warm-up every day, and we love them for that. So to Monday's CFL game in Calgary. So, I'm kind of – there's just so much going on. Well, I don't like the fact that I can't get deep into really anything other than the Stanley Cup Playoffs. That's what I'm really deep into. But everything else, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on. So I saw the complaining this morning from CFL fans on the prairies about the weather for Monday's game. Now, Jeff, the Stamps fan, has written in and says it's going to be 14 Celsius on Monday. I don't know. I'm not the weatherman. I'm not going to be there. But our poll question today is, should this game be televised? We have deduced that it's not televised. And there you go for Country Thunder. The party of the summer is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan this summer, July 9th to the 12th at Country Thunder, featuring Lainey Wilson, Creed, and the RP Show. Get your tickets now, countrythunder.com/SK. Honestly, Kev, what would you vote? What are you voting? Should it be on TV or not?
Yes. How can you not put the preseason games on? If you are the sole broadcaster of the CFL, and then you go, you know what? We don't want the preseason because it means nothing. Well, it means something to us. To us fans, it means something. We want to see who's up and coming. We want to see. Can you imagine them not putting a preseason NFL game on? The NFL fan would lose it. They would, because you guys are all brainwashed in how important it is. The CFL just lets it happen year after year, and I bitched year after year and year after year. It's insane that they're only putting 2 games on this whole entire preseason. It's stupid.
Well, so I'm going to just put a little spin on it because it's a football Friday, and that's what I do. Call me the spin doctor. By the way, Steve from Late Night Smitty in Steinbach, Manitoba is watching. He says, after COVID, the NFL said we can play on every day of the week. Well, that's COVID. How the leagues handled that kind of, I still think, dictates a lot of where they are today.
Yes.
John Glowa, my good friend John Glowa writes in, he says, you have to sign into CFL Plus to watch the stream. So that's fine, but here's the thing. There's a difference between being on TV and not on TV. So we'll all watch the stream. Everybody's on streaming. For God's sakes, there's senior hockey in Saskatchewan's on Facebook Live. Anybody can do that. I'm talking about putting it on cable television. And so I've just been sitting back watching the discussion, the narrative, as Jersey Jim likes to say, about this particular game not being on TV. And somebody said, I saw that, they said, does it really help the CFL to televise a junk game that nobody knows the players, that it's all rookies in an empty stadium? Would that be good for the CFL? Is that a fair argument? Because I'm like, he might not be wrong.
But it's to call it a junk game. You see my reaction. No game is a junk game. And who cares if the fans, there's nobody in the stands. We had a whole season of NHL with nobody in the stands. CFL was the only professional sports to not put a season together during COVID. So I'm going back to that comment. But you just announced you are going to change your schedule and you're going to start the season next year on May long weekend.
This weekend. This weekend. Right? Yeah.
Right? So why wouldn't you make this a big event and put it on TV and say, this is what we have to look forward, folks? I mean, is it going to be the best game in the world? Probably not, but nobody's expecting it. I would watch it just for the fact that, hey, I want to see who the riders are looking at in the future. I want to see what Jay McNeil is up to in Calgary, who he's bringing in. I guess that's the diehard fan. And I guess to their point is I'm going to watch it on CFL Plus, so it doesn't really matter to them. But the occasional fan might want to watch it too.
Well, for that reason of what I read, I voted no. It shouldn't be on TV. You want to go see what's happening? Go buy a ticket. I don't know. I mean, things don't, you would think the conventional wisdom would be we want all the games on television. Sure, right? But I'm just sitting there, has that helped the CFL per se, judging by what the attendance is right now? Scott in Vancouver writes, and he says, meanwhile, Commissioner Stuart Johnston announces the season will start on Victoria Day weekend, but the game isn't on. Makes sense. Like he's being facetious, I think. Carlos writes in from Indiana. He says, the narrative is no one cares about the preseason, no matter the sport. So it's not much of a surprise that a preseason game isn't nationally televised. That's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's right, but when I first came down here 6 hockey seasons ago, I said that it was a preseason game. It was in September for the Panthers. And I think they were on the road. And I picked up the television remote and I said, Serena, what channel is the game on? And she goes, what do you mean? I said, the Panthers game, the preseason, what channel is it on? She's like, it's not on TV. And I said, oh, where can I listen on the radio? That wasn't on the radio either. They streamed it from FloridaPanthers.com. Wow. Now, that was 6 seasons ago, and fast forward to where we are now, every game's on television. But what happened with the Florida Panthers? They started to win, and the rink was full, and they were winning. That's a different business model, dare I say, and certainly a different world than what the CFL is in. But I just wanted to let everybody know that you're not that third world of a country, that Monday's game is not televised, because there are certain NHL teams that don't even broadcast every preseason. I know for Canadians, Kev, it took me a long time to get my head around that. I'm like, say that again? Right? Can you imagine any Flames preseason game not being... What did you say again?
You would hear about it and there would be an outcry. Just like I said, if the NFL preseason wasn't televised, people would be like, what the heck's going on? Again, it's me being the promoter. I love my CFL, and if it drives me nuts when people use the excuse, well, there's nobody in the stands. How does that affect the play on the field? It doesn't. Stop talking about attendance.
Absolutely. And folks, stand by, everybody. We got great comments coming in from the viewers. I know you wait all week for Football Friday, and it's here, and we're doing it, and we're having fun. Kevin the Medium's with us from the Hughes Sports Podcast. Emory Hunt coming up from CBS Sports Network, who does broadcast CFL games in America to 60 million homes. He's coming up in hour 2. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Recklaws teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
2 of Canada's biggest country acts. 1 stage, 1 unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at saskpix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on a Football Friday. It is hour one of the RP show, which means it's the Canadian hour. And by the way, for those in southern Saskatchewan, this weekend, you're going to be watching a lot of hockey, maybe football on Monday. If you're craving the pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites that everybody's raving about, check it out at the Mad Greek Eatery. Make that your family feast at the Mad Greek. Order online, pick up, or dine in at themadgreekeatery.com. Kevin the Medium is with us. Bob in Medicine Hat writes in. He says, good morning, Rod and Kevin. Bob from the Hat again. Rough Riders play on Monday in Calgary. Go Riders, go. Being a 19-year season ticket holder of the Riders, you guys have a great weekend. That's from Bob in Medicine Hat. I don't know what his voice is, but that just when I read it, that's what it sounds like. That's why I think, Rod and Kevin. Yeah.
I think it's perfect. I would love to hear his voice, but I think you've nailed it.
At some point, we'll hear Bob in Medicine Hat's voice. I feel like that's good. Kevin, can we manifest it? Yeah, like I say, we have a lot to get to today, but Kevin's favorite topic is the CFL, and that's our viewers too. And that's what makes Fridays special on this program. And I guess we are into the CFL season. It's not even the off season anymore. Somebody wrote in here about the game being televised Monday. That's our poll question for Country Thunder. Should the game, the Riders at Calgary Monday, be televised? Kevin says yes. I say no. If you want to go, buy a ticket. That's where the league makes money, after all. Somebody wrote in and says, TSN has 5 channels. Throw it on one of them.
Yes.
There is that. I mean, I don't like to tell people how to do their business, but if you're going to stream it anyways, put it on a damn channel.
I mean, if you want to black it out locally, remember when they used to do that way back when? Unless the game was sold out, it was blacked out. So if you couldn't go to the game, you had to lay in front of your radio and listen to it on the radio. That was me when I was a kid. But do that. Block it out locally. Put it on the or TSN 5. Why not? It doesn't hurt anything.
And that, by the way, is why we'll always love the CFL for our own reasons and to varying degrees. I mean, Kevin loves it more than I do, but I love it, and I've been a fan, or I like it a lot. I really love the NHL. I like the CFL a lot. You know, because it has its warts, and I'm sure the NHL does too, but I don't like to look at those. I ignore those. There's a lot of people that ignore the CFL's warts. Jeff, the Stamps fan, is one. Everybody wants to talk about expansion. If the CFL went down to 3 teams, Jeff, the Stamps fan, would find a way to think it was the greatest idea ever. That's just the way some fans are, you know. But here's another thing on that, like on the blackout situation in 2006. Our team president, Jim Hobson, and you've never met him. You've seen me interview him, and you know who Hoppy is. But we were so close personally. And he made this very controversial decision in 2007. Was it 06 or 07 to, I think it was 06. Yeah, to lift the blackouts. For the first time in the history of the franchise, lift those province-wide blackouts, televise every game. And the next season was sold out. We sold out the whole season. The preseason game, every regular season game, 28,800. And I never had the chance to ask Jim how much of a backlash he faced for that, because I can't even imagine. He would have had to do a major sell job to the board of directors to make this happen, but he did it because I was him. If I'd have thought about it on his deathbed, because we had a deathbed conversation, but it wasn't about that.
Go figure.
He told me, we talked about other things. He told me about every single guy. Basically, he'd put a bullet in if he could, and said the number one thing. Well, you've had those end-of-life conversations, and for whatever reason, I seem to be part of those all the time. But he also said the number one thing that he took to his grave is to getting over things and getting over personal slights. And I remember thinking I'm like, well, then thanks, Jim. I don't want to die like that. He just said the hardest thing in my life I've ever had to get over is those personal slights. And I'm like, wow, that's what we talked about, you know, and all the grudges that he had. Anyways, and then the other thing, and I'm going to have to take that to my grave. I'd love to share it, but I can't. That's what he trusted me with that. And then Dan in Winnipeg writes in and asks what I think about the fact that Winnipeg made $12 million and, that they were the only team that made money. And then people are writing and saying they're right. That is such a CFL thing. I don't care who made money or not. This has been my thing for actually several years now. I just want to watch the games. Do you hear MLB teams and media talking about who made money or who didn't? Or NFL or, they're all making NHL teams. I don't care. I really don't. But that is such a CFL fan thing.
It's such a weird dynamic of the CFL that we're so hyper-focused on the crowd size and how much money each team is either making or losing. Who cares, really? I mean, I love the game. You know why I love the game? Not because Winnipeg sells out every game, not because Calgary's stadium sucks. It's because the product on the field is amazing. I think it's the best football in the world. I think it's way better football than the NFL. Personally, I enjoy watching the CFL better than I enjoy watching any other sport out there. So who cares about all the rest of the stuff? Can we just pay attention to the product on the field and enjoy it for what it is?
To quote my cowboy brother, that is akin to barking up a dead horse's ass. There's no point. I mean, you and I can both say that. We're not going to change everybody. That's just the way that it is. Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, RP, when you first started out in the CFL, did they show exhibition games? I don't remember ever watching them. No. And Jeff the Stamps fan says when Rod first started out, half the regular season games weren't televised. Trust me, they weren't, because the biggest and most pressure-filled days in my life were Rough Riders road games. And especially early on in my career when I wasn't a football guy, I was a hockey guy. It was so much pressure because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I knew that we had 1 million people or more literally listening because there was no TV.
Yes.
So you better get it right. Right? When every game was televised, it didn't bother me. I was like, people are going to see an interview coming up here with me where I talk about this. It's not my story to tell. It's theirs, but it's coming up shortly about my time with the Rough Riders and things that people didn't know. And that was really one of them. Just the pressure of that job. Unbelievable.
More pressure in broadcasting on radio of a Rider game than any other sport out there, really, because when you look at a Rider fan or the Rider fans as a whole, when we say it's different, I used to say that because, and they're different. Everybody you meet has that S on their freaking chest everywhere. It's not just like I wear my BC Lions, and even when I'm in BC, and out of 100 people, you might have one other person wearing a BC Lions jersey.
Here, well, it's not, and it's not just that. It's that everything that's going on with the team, but you're not allowed to say it. But you're getting asked every freaking place you walk in that town, what's the buzz? What do you think about this? What's going on here? And you can't say it. And if you don't say it, you're an asshole. And it's just enough. 20 years of not being able to walk 5 feet. Yeah, well, that's people just don't get it. And in that interview, I kind of felt bad, but the guy goes, "Is there anything about the job that you miss?" I'm like, "No." 20 years was enough. I said when it was done, I was ready to go. I was ready to go, and they were ready for me to go. Vancouver Eric writes in and says, Alabama North. That's exactly what it is, and I didn't realize that until I've been to Alabama and Mississippi, and I'm like, oh, I get it. That's why they all say that. It's all anybody cares about. It's all anybody talks about, and that's totally great. Yes. But it's hard to be in that environment when you can't say anything. And I'll tell a few more stories after the break here because we got less than a minute here. What's up for the weekend for you, Kev?
We're going to head up to our trailer up in Cypress Hills, Interprovincial Park, as you know where it is. Most people in this area do. Probably spend a couple days up there prepping the camper and getting it ready for the summer before we head away next week. I'll be here both Thursday and Friday next week, and then I'm gone for 2 or 3 weeks.
All righty. Well, we'll be in touch. This has been fun. Thank you, Kev.
You're welcome. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
You betcha, buddy. Football Friday continues after this break with more of the stories and viewer takeover. Emory Hunt coming up in hour 2 from CBS Sports Network. Everybody, you are tuned in to the RP show, and we'll be right back after this.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world! Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're enjoying this special Football Friday. 902-518-3033 is the text line for Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit their showroom or their website at westerndodge.ca. What's special about these Football Fridays is that it reminds me, I've never said this on the air, but it reminds me of in Bob Costas's book that I read. He grew up in St. Louis. And the legendary radio station in St. Louis is KMOX. And he said how They used to do a 1 hour a week Monday night. Before, he grew up listening to the 1 hour a week Cardinal Hour on KMOX. It was special. Cardinals baseball. And he said, nowadays, 24-hour sports talk radio, a million podcasts, it's not really special anymore. And just for here and this show, the CFL Talk, Fridays, hour 1, is very, very special because I'll talk about it all day. I love it. It's just not enough people love it. Okay, and hockey in the NHL is, I love it more. That's what I'd rather do. But I'll talk CFL Fridays in hour 1. So when we were talking about teams making money or not making money, and I said, I don't care. I don't care. I used to care, but I don't anymore. Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, that's the media talking about CFL profits, not the teams or the league. Incorrect. Winnipeg sent a news release out. I got it 2 weeks ago, stating their $12 million profit and that 83% of that's going back into the stadium for capital improvement. The team sent out the news release. Okay. Stuart Johnston, last year, week 1 at Winnipeg on TSN, saying 7 of 9 teams lost money. I don't know why you would say that as the commissioner, but it's not just the media. The teams, the league, and the commissioner are talking about it. I don't care. I'd rather talk about what's going on the field. Well, and by the way, somebody wrote in here earlier and they're still talking about it. Why are they not starting the Western Conference Final till May 20th? Can we just stop complaining? Can you find something else to do? Vintage Sasko writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, yo, Rodalicious and Lionheart Hughes, I'd sell my third nipple for you and K-Dog to do live post-game shows for CFL games uncensored. Y'all lit. Signed Vintage Sasko. To be honest, there is zero chance that I'm going to do a post-game show, but I was thinking about doing a, what do they call it? I guess a live stream during the game, like a Manning cast. I was thinking of doing that. To be perfectly honest with you, Paul LaPolice came to me with that idea a year or 2 ago. And I said, that's not something that I'm really interested in. But I'm kind of thinking maybe I wouldn't. It's really no different than what we're doing here right now. I'm reading your comments on the air. It's entertaining. I like it. You like it. We'd have a game to talk about. I might do that. Vintage Sasko. That did pop. Post-game show, though, probably not going to happen. Coach DeBuck writes in from here in Fort Lauderdale, Coach Matt Dubuque. He says Edmonton is the sleeper team for the season. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Not sure about the trenches. Dag nabbit, I hope so. And that's the perfect point for this discussion today on a Football Friday, because I tried to get it going the other day. But Cody Fajardo came out and said that his team, after 2 days of training camp, says we should be a Grey Cup contender. I'm like, I would hope so in a 9-team league, but I digress. And the rhetorical, well, it ended up being a rhetorical question because nobody responded to the question. Is Edmonton a Grey Cup contender? Is that nobody really picked up on that? It was like a tree falling in the forest. More than anything, like I think DeBuck and I are pretty similar. That's why we get along. I'm very much a cart before the horse thing. How be you don't finish last? And then we'll talk about getting to the Grey Cup. But if anybody paid attention to the interview that Cody did with us a couple of months ago, he said in there, because I listen. I do have a degree in human behavior. I actually listen to what people say. Cody thinks he's just entering his prime. And when you got a 40-year-old quarterback coaching or quarterbacking Saskatchewan, he's slipped there. He's 6 months older than his coach. Cody's like 33 or 34. What's Bo Levi, 38? There's a very good chance Cody is just entering his prime. I hope you're right, Matt, because it's one of the greatest CFL cities, Edmonton, and they deserve so much better. I don't know enough about their roster. And to be honest, I would like to spend more time on CFL training camp stuff, but there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. And as we talked about off the start of the show, I've never been into schedule releases for any league, even when I worked in the leagues. It never really mattered to me. It's like, tell me when we're going and where, When I got to be there, and I'll be there. I just don't understand. But the NFL schedule releases become different. And then, of course, I get sucked in by the coverage. That's where the CFL's struggled. Number one, not playing in 2020. And number two, just the complete erosion of Canadian media, the lack of coverage of the league. It's the coverage that gets people talking, i.e. this NFL schedule release last night. 3-hour special on ESPN. And like an idiot, I clickbait on the USA Today article, and I'm reading about the fact that ESPN's got the Super Bowl this year for the first time ever. And they got 29 games for the first time ever. It's the most games they've ever had. And there's a triple header on Christmas Day, and the NFL's just taking over the holidays. Blah, blah, blah. Hype, hype, hype. Hype sells. So, yeah, again, time I could have spent reading 3 Down Nation, and probably should have been. Utah Darren writes in, he says, I'm going to try to make it a point to watch as much CFL football as I can this season. I'm curious to compare the game on the traditional field to the new field next year. Which team should I follow? You might as well follow the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You might as well. Let's be honest about that. And the poll question today, if anybody's wondering why this is our poll question, because there's 2 poll questions rattling around in my mind. Number one, the one I probably would have rather have gone with is, should the Golden Knights have been forced to meet with the media last night? Because I, at my own peril, I opened Twitter up in the commercial break, and what were they talking about? John Tortorella and the Golden Knights caspering the media in Anaheim last night after the game to fly home, and all the media is complaining about it. I'm just like, guys, come on. You need the Golden Knights more than the Golden Knights need you, or the teams for that matter. That. Should they have been forced, I would have said no. I don't know what you would have said. I feel like the only people that are upset about it is the media. But the poll question we're going with, simply because it's Football Friday, and this is the Canadian Hour, is, should Monday's CFL game be televised, Sask at Calgary? Now, it will be streamed, so that's a good thing. It's not like you can't find it, but there was this argument. Everybody would say yes, and I'm sure the poll that's leading is yes. I haven't looked at the results. It should be on TV. Of course, every game should be on TV. But there are those that are saying, well, it's the first preseason game. It's going to be sloppy. The stadium's going to be empty. It's not a good look for the CFL, so why televise it? And I'm like, can't really go against that. I mean, DeBuck, we're probably going to be streaming it. Like, I'm probably going to be watching it. I'm that much of a fan. I'm not checking out on it. And so here's the thing, though, with the UFL, I can't turn around on a weekend and not have the UFL up in my face in this country. The games are all on. Fox, ABC, ESPN. I don't know who these players are, and the football's bad. ABC can dedicate 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon to the UFL, but the TSN can't do 3 hours on a holiday Monday? Something's not adding up here. I don't know what something's not clicking. And it's not really whatever. I'll be watching it streaming. That's all. And from an old school sports marketing mentality, if you want to watch the game, buy a ticket. I'll guarantee you won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed if you buy a ticket and go. But that's just me talking. With Vintage Sasko writes in, okay, he's already named it. He's called it the Rodcast. He goes, holy spit, I'm in for the Rodcast, especially if you get special guests. Woo! What do you think, DeBuck? Is that something you'd be interested in? A live stream of CFL football, Matt, if you're still watching? Kirk from Toronto writes in and says, Dunkin' Donuts is returning to Canada after an 8-year hiatus. How about that? Well, we're sports fans. We're coffee drinkers. I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm looking at a Dunkin' Donuts container right now, and it's the size of a 10-gallon drum, 10-gallon pail. That's all I drink is Dunkin' Donuts. Special occasions, I'll go to Starbucks, but I'm a Dunkin' guy, but I'm not going to go to it in Canada. I have the luxury, of course, of living in both countries. And when I'm in Canada, I'm a Tim's guy. I was talking to Moose the other day. He, of course, is in Toronto. And he says there's some anti-Tim Hortons thing because all they do is employ immigrants. I'm like, what aren't they complaining about? Actually, it had to do with, I don't need to get into this here. It had to do with the Duncan thing. Moose was all excited that Duncan was coming. And I guess the comments, because I'm not reading many comments on social media anymore either. My blood pressure's just plummeted. But they were saying, if you hire white Canadian kids to work at Duncan, you'll kill Tim Hortons because all they hire is immigrants. I kind of think it's about the coffee, isn't it? Like, I would like to go where I want the best coffee. I'm not in for a political war. What the hell's wrong with you people? And producer Corey says he's in for the donuts. And the farmers wraps. What do we got? 40 seconds left? 30 seconds. Well, it's less time to pop a top on a story that I'd like to tell. I guess I could do it next hour. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Emory Hunt joining us from CBS Sports Network in hour 2. Get those questions and comments in 902-518-3033. It is a Football Friday, and you're enjoying it here on YouTube Live, Game Plus streaming, and more.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Welcome on up inside, everybody. It is the RP Show on a Friday. It's hour 2 of what we usually do. We've been talking a lot of ball. We're welcoming the Nevada viewers on Silver State Sports, and they're all buzzing about hockey there. So we're going to be switching gears a little bit here today in hour 2. But hang on. In the guest segment coming up next, at quarter after the hour, we'll be joined by Emory Hunt from CBS Sports Network. He's in New York. CBS Sports Network airs a lot of Canadian Football League games, and the great thing about Emory is he follows the CFL a lot. Obviously, NFL, college football, and all the rest. Emory Hunt joining us for a gridiron discussion on this Friday here on the RP Show. Glad to have you aboard. Let's get down to business, and we're going to start with hockey. It's actually the big story. I know that in Sin City. And frankly, all across Canada, the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Point 1 of the warm-up, which is proudly brought to you by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel, the official travel partner of the RP Show and the CFL's BC Lions. Mitch Marner scored a tremendous goal 62 seconds into the hockey game last night, Game 6, Vegas Golden Knights at Anaheim. Pavel Dorofeyev scored twice in the third period, and the Vegas Golden Knights cruised into the Western Conference Finals with a 5-1 victory over the Anaheim Ducks in Game 6 of Round 2. We called that one. We were 50-50 on our picks last night, and I'm going to let myself off the hook in terms of saying the Montreal-Buffalo series has been incredibly hard to predict. And we'll get to that. But for now, we're talking about Vegas because we're on the air in Vegas. That's what people want to talk about in Vegas is their hockey team. Mitch Marner played a role in all 3 of his Vegas's goals last night while raising his NHL leading playoff point total to 18. And Game 5 overtime goal scorer Dorofeyev put the game away with a huge third period. Kata Hot made 31 saves as the veteran-laden Golden Knights ended the upstart Ducks' first playoff appearance since 2018. So there are a lot of things going on. There's a lot of hate towards the Golden Knights, and I'll put up a little disclaimer. They don't care. I know those boys real well. All they do is win. They're like DJ Khaled down here in South Florida. All they do is win. So there's a few things that they're getting a lot of heat for today. Well, let me just back up. We had Jersey Jim on yesterday, and it was a fantastic chat with Jersey Jim from NHL Full Press and NHLRumors.com. We both said Vegas was going to roll, and I've been watching a lot of Vegas games this year. They are still my number 1 team, and I knew they have not played their best yet in this series, and I would suggest in Game 6 last night they did. They motorboated the Ducks last night. All their way into the Western Conference Finals. So it was a fun chat yesterday because if they hadn't won Game 6, I was pretty confident they'd come home and win it in Game 7. Either way, they were going to go to the Western Conference Final, which now is their first trip since 2023. They're facing a Colorado team that hasn't been to the Western Conference Final since 2022. This is going to be an unbelievable series. And there's an emerging story here, if anybody hasn't paid attention, the hated Golden Knights. You haven't heard that all year, but you're hearing it now. Largely because Tortorella wouldn't speak to the media. John Tortorella, the coach of Vegas, last night after the game. They made one player available. I don't even know who that player was. And I will respectfully relay the media's complaints about this because some of the Vegas media have been on this show, and I understand that they're upset. The Canadian media has really jumped on this. And Ryan Rishog at TSN at Edmonton, good friend of mine, known him years, says this needs to go up to the NHL, that they didn't meet with the media. Farhan Lalji out of TSN Vancouver, he didn't like Torts. That's very obvious if you follow his Twitter, and they have a history going back to Vancouver days when Torts coached the Vancouver Canucks. Number 1, you should never go by what you hear about somebody. You just shouldn't do it. I've never met John Tortorella. And I've also seen here on Twitter, just before we went to air, that I guess he didn't shake hands after the game with the Ducks coaching staff. I need to look into that. While he doesn't seem like the kind of guy, especially when you win, why wouldn't you shake hands? I can see if you lost. That happens actually more than you'd think, but whatever. It's now dump on Torts time, is what I'm saying. And to be honest, as much hate as they're garnering a hell of a lot of support, too. It's sort of like the USA men's hockey team. Okay? The guys that won the gold medal, Tkachuk, well, both Tkachuks, the Hughes boys, all the rest. They didn't care. They won. And they came to Miami, and they partied in a strip club and smoked cigars and didn't give a shit. It's kind of what the Golden Knights are doing. Some people don't like that. Some people think it's awesome. That's the TED Talk here as I land the plane. Carter Hart, Edmonton could have signed him at his hometown team, but no, they're too good for Carter Hart. Political reasons. We all know the story. Vegas didn't mind because they want to win, and they know the kid. And so the Torts thing, the Carter Hart thing, and then the other thing that's coming up, and we'll move on, but this kind of dawned on my head this morning. There's a lot of hockey people, NHL people, that were upset that the NHL relaxed the expansion rules for Vegas to make them competitive. And while Vegas doesn't care, I've talked to all those guys about that, even if they went under the old expansion rules, they'd have been a winner. Maybe not as fast, like going to the Stanley Cup final in year 1 or winning a Stanley Cup in year 6, but they would have, I will guarantee you, they would have been a contender and solid fast. That's just how they do business. So that's the fun story. So while this hate, it's like the Vrabel and Rossini stuff. It's just once there becomes something for people to grab onto, they don't let it go. And that's what's going to happen here with the hate towards the Golden Knights. And that's why I'm kind of happy to say that, and you watch this show regularly, that I say I'll always have the Golden Knights back. I've been saying it for months, years as a matter of fact, and it ain't changing now. Hashtag forged in gold. It's going to be a hell of a Western Conference final. Now, point 1B of the warm-up brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel, which, by the way, I should mention, score a touchdown in the Caribbean. Join CFL legend Adam Bighill and Saskatchewan Roughriders linebacker Jameer Thurman on a 7-day cruise departing from Fort Lauderdale February 20th, 2027. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99 per person. Cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Travel. Neil, that's Neal, at uniglobecarefree.ca. We're going to have that sucker sold out in a week. You watch. The other game Thursday night was not as, it wasn't close either. Captain Nick Suzuki, former Golden Knight, and Jake Evans scored 68 seconds apart late in the second period, and the Montreal Canadiens defeated the Buffalo Sabres 6-3 to take a 3-2 series lead in that second-round Stanley Cup playoff series. And they can wrap it up Saturday night in Centre Bell. This is the good thing, okay, with these Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm come from the old school. We've established that. I like the unpredictability of what we've seen in these Stanley Cup playoffs. I like that. It's very anti-American sports, whereby in the NFL, usually the top regular season teams roll to the Super Bowl. Whether they win it or not, you never know, but they're usually the best teams in the regular season are the best teams in the playoffs. College basketball, same thing. March Madness bracket has become pretty unpredictable the last couple of years. Nobody cares. College football's not much different. That's them. These hockey playoffs, I have no idea what's going on, especially on the east side, and I live out here. So we haven't made our pick yet. We were 1 for 2 last night. I picked the Golden Knights to win. I also picked the Sabres to win, and I was wrong. But I just feel like Montreal's not going to close it out Saturday night in the Bell Center. They're going to go to a Game 7 for a second consecutive series. But either way, we got to all watch. That's the point. 902-518-3033. Coach DeBuck says, regarding the Golden Knights, he says, sounds like the Oakland Raiders. The good Raiders. John Madden, the Snake, John Matuszak. Yeah, they don't care. Jeff the Stamps fan writes that, and he says, that is great advice, Rod. Never judge someone based on others' opinions. Well, there again, that also is like barking up a dead horse's ass, because people do form their opinion based on what they hear from others. I'm just telling you, you shouldn't. Jason in Red Deer writes, and he says, same reason there's so much hate for Brady and the Patriots. They dominate the game. Largely, yes, but more than anything, society, and it's not an American thing, it's Canada too, maybe even more so, they just hate winners. Like, for me, as a childhood Oilers fan, I love Gretzky. I still love Gretzky, but we saw the Gretzky story coming up. Everybody loved him, and then everybody hated him. Not everybody, but you know what I mean. Pretty much anybody outside Edmonton. Sidney Crosby, same thing. All they did was win. People don't like winners. It sucks. 902-518-3033. Thank you for bringing up Brady and the Patriots, by the way. And keep the comments rolling. Brent in Saskatoon writes in and says, or spitting into the wind, Rod. Well, you can say that, or I think you're realizing now that I come from a farm family. My mom used to say, might as well go piss into the wind. Not going to go anywhere. It's just going to come back on you. And it's my brother that says it's like barking up a dead horse's ass, which I've never tried, but it doesn't sound like fun. It doesn't sound like it would be very productive. Coach DeBuck says, baby face to heel and back again. That is a pro wrestling term. I got you. Paul's watching in Humboldt, the home of the Broncos. He says playoff experience counted for the Canes, Avalanche, Knights. It's a toss-up in Sabres-Habs. Right, but again, that also is what's made these Stanley Cup playoffs so entertaining was in round one, it didn't mean a lot. And that's where they earn their scars. That's where sports is like life. You earn your scars and you hope you learn from it and you come back better. Tampa Bay got their scars. The Lightning, the Florida Panthers got their scars from the Lightning. Philly got their scars. They won around Philadelphia. Anaheim. Some of these teams had no business. Montreal probably earned their scars last year. It's the way it goes. Just checking the time. Yes, 1:11. Thank you for the live viewers. 11:11 Mountain. Visualize a positive outcome. Here's one. I was saying this yesterday if you were watching. Imagine a thing that makes you feel warm and raises your vibration, whatever that is. For me, it's NHL hockey. It just makes me happy. Think about it and stay there. And when that thing pops up that drags you down and makes you feel like junk inside, get rid of it. Arlen Bruce writes in, AB, NFL, CFL alum. Great day, RP. The IFL play-in tournament starts Monday in New Jersey. Also, the commissioner has reached out to my son. We'll see what the commissioner does. He says, when's the season start? It started, AB. Sorry to tell inside story there, but Arlen Bruce's son, Arlen Bruce IV, broke NCAA violations by betting while at college, Iowa. Whoops. Signed a contract with Edmonton and the CFL, which was later voided by the commissioner's office because of those NCAA allegations. So, no, I'm still on my first point here. That's wild. And I will move on, but Emory Hunt coming in next. We'll get to the football with Emory next, just so you all know. But our poll question today, for those that care, has to do with the Canadian Football League. The first preseason game of the year is Monday in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and it's not televised. So our poll question today for Country Thunder, the biggest party this summer, is coming to Craven, Saskatchewan, July 9th to the 12th, featuring Lainey Wilson, Creed, and the RP Show. Get your tickets now at countrythunder.com/SK. Game's not televised. Should it be? So here's this is not, to me, an Arlen Bruce problem. The guy is a CFL legend, two-time Grey Cup champion, and 49ers and Chiefs alum. He's hoping to get his son reinstated by the CFL to play, and he didn't know when the league starts. It starts Monday. Just saying. So the argument for the game being televised nationally in Canada on Monday is, why wouldn't it be? The argument against it is, it's the first preseason game. It's going to be slop, and the stadium's going to be empty. That's not a good look for the CFL on a holiday Monday in Canada. So I voted no for that reason. I'm not saying it's right. It's why we have a vote. It's a democracy. Yeah, I didn't mean to. Hour one was all CFL. That's not what we do here in hour two. So anyway, I'm just telling you that's what the poll question was. But I look at the United Football League, and Emory Hunt is coming up next. He's a football guy. He won't just have takes on the NFL, CFL, college. He'll have takes on the UFL as well because football people do. Those games are junk. I'm watching them. They're past the halfway point, and they're not getting better from what I've seen. But they're also showing the games. They're everywhere you look on your program grid. ESPN, ABC on a Saturday afternoon, Fox. It's like ABC can dedicate 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon to the United Football League, which nobody could name up one player if you put a gun to their head. But TSN, Canada's ESPN, can't dedicate 3 hours on a holiday Monday to two marquee franchises? I don't understand it. 902-518-3033. Coming in next, Emory Hunt. The guest segment brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca. The RP Show continues right after this on Silver State Sports.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote Rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's the RP Show, and officially a Football Friday now as we welcome our good friend Emory Hunt from the Football Game Plan, czar of the playbook, joining us from New York. And Emory, we haven't even talked a lot of football yet. We've been hung up on hockey, which is cool. I want to ask you about that. But I will ask you about the NFL schedule release last night. 3 hours on ESPN. Everybody's talking about it. Where does that rate, scale of 1 to 10 for you, NFL schedule release day for excitement level?
I would say about a 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
We kind of the matchups, and we're just trying to figure out when and where they're going to play. But it's cool. We did 2 hours, 2.5 hours on CBS Sports HQ last night, and I found myself getting amped for it in terms of like, okay, now we're talking football. Now we get to kind of see when and where the matchups are, even though we knew who the matchups were. But kind of leading into it is like I remember maybe it became a thing 3 or 4 years ago. It's like, why are they making this a thing? We already know the matchups. And then once you get into it, it's like, all right, this is kind of fun. And it's also cool to see some of the videos of teams like the Titans. I thought had the best, schedule release video when they found randos on the street that looked like NFL players. And I thought that was fun. But it's just, it really is much ado about nothing. But it's still fun nonetheless.
That's why we get along, because I'm the same way. I'm probably a 1 out of 10. But I'm sitting there reading the coverage this morning, and they're like, oh, ESPN's got the Super Bowl this year. Wow, first time ever. ESPN's got 29 games. There's a Christmas Day tribleheader, and here's who's carrying it. It's just, I'm getting into it. It's hype, man. It's hype. It's hype. That's all it is, hype.
We found ourselves last night. I posted a clip on my Twitter page. It was me, Brian McFadden, Ben DiNucci, and our host, Hakeem Dermish. And we just couldn't get over the fact that the 49ers are traveling all these miles across all these time zones. And that's the one sticking point that kind of carried us. And then once we realized, like, listen, this is a schedule release. We're going to have some fun. I was poking fun at everything that we had, we were talking about. I remember Hakeem brought up, like, the Patriots. This is the biggest news story of the Patriots. How can they respond to the Super Bowl loss? And he came to me first. I was like, that might be the second biggest storyline. You know what I'm saying? Let's not talk around the elephant in the room. So you find ways to make it fun, and at the end of the day, you end up having a good time.
Well, the other thing, too, was my favorite guys are Florio and Chris Sims. And they might be jerks, I don't know, but they're entertaining. And they were talking the other day about last season. They're like, 45-year-old Phillip Rivers started a game. Oh, yeah, that happened. That's the good thing about the offseason. I haven't thought about that since. There's some crazy things. That's what's good about days like yesterday. Just getting talking about it again. So I will just say this. What's got you the most excited for the 2026 NFL season?
Well, there's two things. One, we did a bit, some superlatives, and it was like, what's your pettiest game on the schedule? I was like, oh, instantly, Browns-Falcons. You look who just got fired from the Browns. He's not a head coach at the Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski. The whole Shedeur Sanders situation that went down last year that led to him getting fired, how he handled that quarterback controversy or quarterback battle or competition. And then he retained the defensive coordinator, Jeff Albrecht, who's a fantastic defensive coordinator. But if you remember, his son was the one that made the prank call to Shedeur Sanders during the draft. Yeah. And so now you have the Browns fans and Falcon fans and Browns media and Falcons media arguing with each other on, should they have kept Stefanski? They shouldn't let him go. It's chaotic, and all of this is happening in Cleveland. So I said if the Browns go 1-16, the one game they better win is this Falcons game, because that's going to be the game. So that's one. And then the second one was, obviously everybody was talking about these big matchups, but I said I went week 1 matchup, Jets-Titans. And it was like, why? I was like, well, right now, we were capitalizing on the hopium and copium of all 32 franchises, right? Everybody's fan base thinks this is a favorable schedule for them and they can win the Super Bowl. So why not look at week 1 when everybody's optimism is high and you have a lot of storylines with the Jets and Titans? Obviously, Robert Saleh used to coach there, and Dave used to coach in New York, and a lot of the Giants went over there, and the Jets look good on paper once again. The Titans got better in the offseason. This is a great matchup for week 1 because optimism is super high.
Well, and I'm with you on week 1 in the same city, but the Giants, and stick with me, Emory. I was out with a bunch of football guys the other night. I'm living here in South Florida, and one was an FAU coach, and he was talking about Willie Taggart is now with Harbaugh with the Giants, and I'm a Cowboys fan. So they're going to meet in week 1 at MetLife, right? Cowboys and Giants. Like right off the banger, NFC East clash, Cowboys and Giants. And so my question to you is, how much of a difference is Harbaugh going to make with the Giants? It's still the G-man. Like what are we thinking here for the Giants?
Listen, the floor has been raised, and I was out there for rookie minicamp, last weekend, and it was kind of just a normal, calm, experience, because normally, and I've been going to Giants, training camps and mini camps since Coughlin was there. So I've seen all these head coaches and how they operate, right? So this was my first time seeing Harbaugh operate. One, he didn't bring a lot of guys to rookie mini camp. There wasn't a 90-man roster. It's about 50. So he kind of just wanted to get the most out of practice and guys that really had a chance to make the team, and left it at that. Didn't want to waste anybody's time. And then when you look at what they did in the draft and what they did via free agency, they've raised the floor defensively and on that offensive line. So if they're going to play the Cowboys, week 1 is probably the best time to get them, because when you think about defenses already having an earlier start than the offense in the early parts of the season, the Cowboys offense is explosive. We know that. We understand that they're going to be a top 5 offense in the NFL easily. But in week 1, they're going to be trying to find their sea legs because of how the preseason is set up. So the Giants defense has a chance to really make a statement. Now, for the Giants is offensively, can their how healthy is Malik Neighbors? We just saw the report he's going to have to get a second surgery. And what does that mean for the rest of the passing game? Because they'll be able to run the ball, but will the passing game be able to be ready to go week 1?
I guess that's the thing. Harbaugh's going to make him better. The question is how much better and how soon. Like as far as that game goes, it's prime time. It's Sunday Night Football. I'm thinking the Cowboys go in there and win. Or is that just too much of the fandom in me?
No, you wouldn't be a fan thinking that because of and I brought this up last night, the Cowboys revamping of their defense actually started last year when they made that move for Quinnen Williams. And then you combine that with what they did this offseason, like, yes, they're going to be significantly better on defense. The offense is going to be the offense. That's a 30 to 40 point per game type offense. So I have no issues about their offense. It's about their defense and can they be better? They can. And so, they can win that game for sure. But where the edge is in week 1 for the Cowboys that can give you a little bit more confidence, the kicking game. That's where we still have to wait and see for the Giants. And the Giants, John Harbaugh brought this up. He said, listen, we're going to keep 3 kickers until this thing is settled on 1. So he's going to have kicking competitions every practice until they settle in on 1 guy. And the Cowboys, you just crossed the 50. You don't even have to cross the 50 no more now with Brandon Aubrey, and he's in field goal range. So that could be the difference between them winning and losing the game in week 1.
Emory Hunt is with us from CBS Sports HQ and the football game plan. We are airing in Vegas where they can't get enough Raiders talk, like any NFL market. And we've had various pundits on, and my friend Jim Lang the other day said, don't even be thinking about playoffs, Raiders fans. Is he right? What do you think?
I don't know, man. Like, listen, we've seen crazier things happen, but I will say this. When we look at the Raiders and talking about flipping their roster, they did a phenomenal job. So in the fact that they got the offensive line better on paper, they added another weapon at running back in Mike Washington that pairs well with, what they drafted last year in their tailback out of Boise State. And then you look at the defensive side of the ball, the Kobe Dean, Quay Walker, getting Max Crosby back, huge. And the guys they drafted in the secondary are a lot of the top tier corners. This team looks good. And then you draft a high floor, former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, and you like what you have. You feel like, hey, this team could go in there and win 8 or 9 games, and whoever, if they could upset a team or two, now we're talking 10, right? And so I feel like the Raiders will be a lot better. What shocks me about what happened yesterday with the schedule releases, no primetime games. With a number 1 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner, the Raiders being one of the NFL iconic brands, and no primetime games, I thought that was a miss by the NFL.
Big miss. I was really shocked by that too. So now the viewers go nuts. Anytime we talk NFL, they're going crazy. If you don't mind me firing a few at you, Emory, Darren is watching in Utah. He says, will Jackson Dart take a step forward or back in year 2, Emory?
Take a step forward. And the reason why, they added Isaiah Likely to go along with Theo Johnson, the second-year emergence of Thomas Fedoni, the other tight end. So they got 3 tight ends, and we know how Harbaugh loves to get those guys involved. And he loves to take advantage of a quarterback's athleticism, which is what Dart's game is predicated on. The offensive line got better, so I feel like we'll see the natural progression for Jackson Dart being better than he was. And if he stays out there for a full season, he's already better than what he was. So it's about him protecting himself and making sure he knows when and where to be Johnny, go get it, or Joe Kane from the program, and then or when to slide and live to play another day.
By the way, Donnie writes in. He's watching in BC. He says, "I love the hype with the NFL." Oh yeah, we all do. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it's the Broncos' year. And speaking of that, I don't know what I was reading the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot Bo Nix broke his leg or his foot in the AFC divisional round. On his way to leading the Broncos to the Super Bowl. Is it their conference to lose, or where are the Broncos going, do you think?
They'll still be in the mix, and you're right, man. We were in studio for the Broncos divisional playoff game, getting ready to. We went from the green room downstairs to the main studio to talk about it, and we're getting in our ear like, we got to make sure we talk about the Bo Nix injury. It was like, what injury? And then it was like he made out for the season. Like what? And so it's like, man, when did this happen? And so it just blew our minds. And then we kind of, we footballed ourselves and things like. I mean, you just got to go out there. Play your 111 if you're Jarrett Stidham. You got the run game, got the defense. They go out there, they are doing that, and then Stidham throws the worst interception. We was like, yo, what was he? And then the weather, they was trying to get all that in before the weather got bad, and then the weather got bad, and everything was out of. So they have to feel like, bro, if we had Bo Nix, we're going to the Super Bowl. So they got to feel confident coming into the season if he's at 100% ready to go.
Jason and Red Deer's had a couple questions here. He says, speaking of the Raiders, does Emory see Mendoza starting the season or Cousins? The Raiders have already said Kirk Cousins is starting week 1, did they not? I think they've said that.
I think I've heard that. I feel like he should start, not Cousins, Mendoza. The reason why you draft Mendoza, because he had a high floor. Like, and he showed that at Indiana. Like, he doesn't make mistakes. He's efficient. He gets the ball to where it needs to be. You have now a better offensive line set up, a run game. What's the difference? He's better than Kirk Cousins is right now. The last time we saw Kirk Cousins play last year, it's like, I thought he was going to be on the outside because he did a great job at CBS. Like, oh, yeah, he's going to be good. Filling in for Matt Ryan, who goes to the Atlanta Falcons, is like, why is he still playing? I was like, man, just start the young dude. That was the reason why you drafted him. High floor guy, ready to play right away and go and play ball.
Tony from Cochrane, Alberta writes, and he says, Week 10, Texans at the Browns. Go Texans. There's an inside story there. He's changed his fan allegiances. Lifelong Browns fan. I said, why don't you stop suffering and pick another team? So he did. He picked Houston. I'm like, that's not the answer to curing your woes, but whatever. I'm not going to tell him what to do. Just sifting through the. Oh, Jason also wants to know, was Drake May, speaking of the Super Bowl, he says, was Drake May a flash in the pan or for real? I feel like he's proven now, isn't he?
I think it's somewhere in between. He's not a flash in the pan, and he's a good quarterback. But to be for real, he has to play better than what he did in the playoffs. He was being carried in the postseason, but he's clearly not a liability. So if he could just make the transition that all young quarterbacks make from being carried to being the guy that's driving the bus, I think that's going to be where his goal is for this season. I like that, he can come in and they've kind of upgraded the offensive line a little bit more. They still have the run game, and we'll see if the passing options are there for him to make that step forward.
I'll tell you what, you got to admire the never-ending optimism of fan bases, and I'm living here in Miami. This morning, they're talking about Malik Willis being the next Dan Marino. I'm like, you guys, you just can't. You get your hopes up so high every year. But they're happy to not be dealing with Tua. What do you see for the Dolphins?
I see a team that's in transition right now. I like Malik Willis. He was my number one quarterback coming out his draft class. And I'm glad he got the patience with Green Bay. It's funny because when he was at Green Bay, you just felt like, dang, he probably, they gave him 30 games in Tennessee. And then you realize, like, nope, they gave him 3. It's like, wow, he only started 3 games in Tennessee. It's like, so he never really got a chance. So he got the opportunity in Green Bay, and I think I spoke to him his rookie year at Titans training camp, and I just love the perspective that he has on everything. So I think he'll be fine. But the issue for that team is that there's a lot of new pieces. It's a young team, but if you're Coach Jeff Hafley, you love that because when you have a young team, you can kind of legitimately build your foundation and your culture right there. It's not you're dealing with a lot of older guys that are already set in their ways. You really can build this thing, and then next year is where we could have some serious expectations for the Dolphins. But this year, just seeing those guys young going out there and compete is going to be fun because this is truly a youthful team that's going to be going out there trying to prove some things. They'll upset some people, but I feel like next year we can start talking about can they compete in the East and can they be a 7th seed like that.
Emory, you know this. Our viewers love you. The questions, we're not going to have enough time to get into all of them. Brent in the Bridge City says, does Emory think Detroit's a contender this year?
They have to be because that division, all 4 teams had winning records and only 2 made the postseason. So they kind of have to continue to keep rolling along, pun intended. And if they could just stay healthy, I think that helps them out in the long run. They could run the football. They could play good defense. That in and of itself is going to keep them above 8 wins. And if they can, knock out some of those teams that, win games that they're supposed to win and not kind of stub their toe on some of these easier games on the schedule per se, I think they'll be in the playoffs once again. Because, again, you can't – run game and defense been the tried and true formula since 1869 when Rutgers and Princeton got together in that field in Central Jersey.
Arlen Bruce writes in, NFL, CFL alumni. He says, bro, the Raiders are who we thought they are. They're not a playoff team. He says the Rams are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. He goes, what are your thoughts, and are the Chiefs back? He is a Kansas City Chiefs alum. Are the Chiefs back?
If Mahomes is back, I know everyone – I said this last night. I had them going – we did had me do a schedule breakdown on the wall of the Chiefs' schedule. So I got them going 11-6 and winning the division, right? But I had them losing week 1. I'm not of the belief that Mahomes is going to be out there week 1. I'm like, y'all keep saying he tore his ACL and LCL. As someone that has torn his ACL, MCL, and PCL, I know the time it takes to come back. Now, I am not a superior, NFL quarterback, and this was back in 2000. So now you see guys, they use AI to repair your ACLs. Now he might be back tonight. So who knows? But I had them losing the first game, but I see Mahomes getting better as the season goes on. And that team is significantly better. That defense is going to be lights out better. And I love the fact that they are bolstering the run game. They got 3 legitimate tailbacks in their backfield now. So, yes, the Chiefs are a serious contender. In terms of the Raiders, they'll compete. The Rams, the NFC is going to be tough, man, because they gotta deal with travel. They also got to deal with everyone around them has gotten better, and you're going to have another winning team, a team with a winning record, not make the postseason, and one could be the Rams.
CFL training camps are open. Preseason opens Monday. We got 30 seconds. Are you following it? You got a Grey Cup pick?
I got a Grey Cup pick. I'm going back with Montreal. I feel like Montreal is still doing it the right way. I'm gonna go with the Alouettes once again.
You've been reading the betting books. That's what the sports books had. They're the number 1 betting favorite. Emory, on behalf of the viewers and me, thank you so much. They've loved it. Appreciate the time, my man. Let's do it again soon. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate you too, man. Thanks for having me on.
The czar of the playbook from Football Game Plan and CBS Sports HQ, Emory Hunt, joining us from New York. We'll be coming right back with a sports update, viewer takeover on Silver State Sports right after this.
Ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Sask Tigs.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the airport. Why am I smiling? I was just thinking about it's me and you, just us the rest of the way to the top of the hour, viewer takeover, and a sports update if we have time. I kind of got hung up in the warm-up on the Golden Knights, and why wouldn't I? Going to the Western Conference Final for the first time since 2023. So I'm just saying, when it's just me solo, it does remind me of Larry King and any of those guys we grew up watching and listening to. So I thought, Wayne in Winnipeg, hello. You're on the air. Larry King was the color voice of the Miami Dolphins in 1971 and 72. I'm just putting that out there. We all know him from CNN. Wayne in Winnipeg, hello. Hey, Rod. Great CFL lid lifter show. Good to see you back. We didn't go anywhere. He says, a lot of podcasters are talking football. Can you do a show segment on stadium concession food? Football for... Wayne, we've been here every day. Good to see you back. We've been talking about concession food. The best I've ever had was Cowboy Stadium, AT&T. 24-inch hot dog with nacho cheese and jalapenos and chili. We've been here. Where have you been? That's the question. Beep, 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 beep. Tony from Cochrane, I'm with you. I didn't want to say it to Emory. Tony writes in, he says, starting Fernando in week 1 would be a Browns move. Emory. I wasn't going to pass that along when Emory was on the air. I feel like I heard that they've already said Kirk Cousins is going to start week 1. I'd be shocked if they didn't. 902-518-3033. Oh, thank you, Kelly, who is watching in the Queen City. Like, you really got to be careful And listen, this decision that I made to really scale back on my social media consumption has not been a bad decision, I'll tell you that. And Kelly writes in and says, morning RP, as we air live in the mornings in Western Canada, prime time in Vegas. He says, Torts went right over to the players' bench and shook hands. So some numpty I saw on Twitter this morning was saying that John Tortorella, the Golden Knights coach, not only didn't speak to the media after that game, didn't shake hands with the Ducks coaches either. I'm like, that doesn't sound like something Torts would do, and they won as well. There's no way he didn't shake hands, but somebody's trying to start something. I mean, it's one thing to report incorrect stuff. There's another thing to intentionally start stuff with information that's wrong, which there's a lot of that out there. So you got to go to the trusted sources, and that's why you all are watching here, right? Not saying I'm always right, but I'll never mislead you. Wilf writes in from Steinbach and says, someone signed the Bruce kid already. Well, but they can't. This is a story we're following, and I appreciate the loyal audience, the Rod Squad. Even though we're off, it's quite funny, even though we're off Game Plus TV and my phone continues to blow up for the month of May. They tell us we're coming back in June, but a lot of people don't care. They found us here. Move to Vegas if you want to watch us on television. People have moved to Vegas for worse reasons. But anyways, the evolving story is this same Arlen Bruce, the iconic player whose son has been banned from football for betting while at college, has been banned from the CFL despite never having played a game. He signed with Edmonton when Chris Jones was there. The league voided the contract under a prior commissioner. Now there's a new commissioner, and they're trying to find a way to get Arlen Bruce the fourth on the field. And that's all I'll say. If it comes down to a vote, yeah, vote. Let him play. For the love of God, in a league that's primary revenue source is ticket sales, Arlen Bruce IV sells tickets just like his dad. NFL talent. There's no two ways about it. And he's currently lighting it up in the Indoor Football League, which plays against the Vegas Nighthawks. He's with the Arizona Rattlers. So, yeah, keep it coming. I do really love the viewer takeover. I mean, we can get to a sports update, but you all kind of know what's going on in sports. Let's talk about our own things here and what we're interested in specifically. 902-518-3033. Oh, somebody sends me information here that the United Football League's outdrawing the NHL for ratings in America. We'll talk about that. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Okay, welcome back, everybody, for Overtime, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes. They're in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but I feel like they really need to get a location in Las Vegas. It's a big hockey town. Vegas, of course, is an amusement park for hockey players. Randy and Michelle always got something going on there. Check them out this weekend. As a matter of fact, you go to that CFL game Monday in Calgary because it's not on television. Go in and make a weekend of it. Go out to the mountains and go to Overtime Hockey Lanes and tell Randy and Michelle the RP Show sent you. 28th Street Northeast, Calgary. Speaking of hockey, Coach Dubuck writes in. He says, I'm waiting for Rod to say it. Go Habs. Ole, ole, ole. Like, do you want me to cheer for Montreal? I feel like I might be a jinx. I don't know. Going to be hell of a Game 6 Saturday night at Centre Bell in Montreal. Vegas now cooling its heels. Actually, not really. They're going to the Western Conference Final a couple days before they open that thing up on May 20th. People bitching about they got to wait till May 20th for the series to start. How do you stop bitching? Have we thought about that? On the topic of stadium food, I'm still going to say the best I had. I don't even know what they call that chili cheese dog with jalapenos at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. The fact that I can't stop thinking about it tells you it was good. Utah Darren says fish tacos at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Back when the Chargers were there, were unexpectedly good. I'll tell you something about Qualcomm Stadium when I was there in San Diego. Patriots were there. Had the great opportunity to watch Tom Brady. And Robert Kraft was driving around in a golf cart through the tailgating with the fans, handing out golf shirts, hats, keychains. Robert Kraft. That's what I remember of NFL in San Diego. I'll tell you what, people want to call it the no fun league. I've never seen that. That's never been my experience with the National Football League at all. It's very inclusive, very fun. I think it's just the haters. Oh, and by the way, DeBuck sent me this. Not that I'm calling you a hater, Matt, because I'm sure you wouldn't agree with this, but he sent me this thing, a news story that the UFL, United Football League TV ratings are higher than the Stanley Cup Playoffs in the States right now. I don't care. I'm watching the Stanley Cup Playoffs and UFL when there's nothing else on. But that's just me. And the thing is, what do we talk about this all the time? We're seeing it every single day. We have this little fun game here. Every time you hear a league say, highest ratings ever, NHL did it. For the draft lottery, most streaming viewers ever. NFL said it for Round 1 of the draft. Everybody, Kentucky Derby, most watched ever. Everybody's the most ever. I mean, I don't believe it, but everybody gets sucked into it because they're all in this competition for eyeballs. I totally understand why they're doing it. Everybody's selling you something. I don't need to be sold. I'm going to be watching the Stanley Cup Playoffs every night. I don't care what this story says. I don't even believe it. The ratings are phony. They're not even real. They make them up. Trust me, I know. Been in the business for decades. But the selling thing is important because if we enjoyed that chat with Emory there, DeBuck, you will agree. When the Dolphins signed Malik Willis in free agency, everybody was down on the guy. Everybody. But then the Dolphins went to work on the PR spin in this town, and now everybody loves Malik Willis. It's funny, as I was saying it earlier, I was driving to the gym this morning listening to WQAM radio sports station, and they're all, I'm really excited about Malik Willis, and we're going to go to the playoffs. And they went from here to here. And that's when the team's like, whoa, pump the brakes. We don't want the expectations too high. What do you want? It just never ends. It is fun to talk about, and that's the other thing. The other night, Matt, by the way, thanks for the invitation to La Bamba Mexican restaurant. We went after their spring game. And all the football coaches, the Montreal Buffalo game was on the big screen, but they just wanted to talk about the Panthers. How the Panthers going to be? What are the Panthers going to do? Sell job again. That's what the Panthers are doing in this town because the Florida Panthers missed the playoffs. So trust me, there's a push. That's the handbook that the Panthers will be good next year, which I believe that they will be. Vancouver Eric. Thanks for hanging in through the whole show, brother. He says, the Monday CFL preseason game, highest ratings ever. Problem is, it's not on TV, Bob. We'll be watching this streaming, though, probably. Jason and Red Deer says, apparently the Huff Burger at McMahon Stadium is quite popular. I've walked by that trailer many, many times. Trailer and booth, and never stopped for one. I should, though. Maybe this summer. Tony from Cochrane. 20 centimeters of snow expected in the mountains starting tonight, Rod. I know. Sorry about your luck. Because I'm getting ready. This is my last weekend in Florida for the summer. I'm heading back next weekend, just so you all know. Back to Canada for the summer, June, July, August. And I'm going to enjoy every single second of the weather and my friends and the great things there is to do here because I go back to Canada for a reason in the summer. I love it. But the weather is not why I really go back. It's cooler, but it's pretty gross. That's what all I hear everybody's talking about right now. So, hey, it's been fun. Thanks to Emory Hunt. Thanks to all of you for participating, having so much fun with us on a Football Friday. Thank you, producer Corey, for a great show. John Ohm writes in, says, let's go Riders. Oh, you had to get that in there. Oh, Jason in Red Deer says, can't wait for the Rodcast. It'll get the highest ratings ever. I shouldn't have even, I was just thinking of doing a live stream during CFL games. I'm thinking about it. It's already had some, it's got some legs. Ken in Mississauga says, is the game Monday for sure being streamed? Yeah, they stream them all. It'll be on CFL Plus, which, to be honest with you, I've had zero issues with. Anytime I've logged on, the broadcasts have been seamless. I got to give them credit for that. Thank you, Jeff the Stamps fan. No, we're not showing the game. We don't do that. See you Monday. No, Tuesday, everybody.
That